The Profit Point, in association with Dan Gote.
Welcome back. Now, in South Africa, there's one cereal that every kid knows, and that's Weet-Bix. If it wasn't for Pioneer Foods, we might never have tasted it. Growing from the grain industry to one of South Africa's largest distributors and producers of food, Pioneer Foods has shaped our taste buds for more than 100 years. I sat down with the CEO, Tertius Carstens, to find out how he plans to keep putting food on our plates.
Hi, I'm Tertius Carstens, CEO of Pioneer Foods.
You could trace the roots back 100 years, but the company really took on its own form in the late 1990s and expanded globally.
Yeah, the official starting point for Pioneer Foods was in 1997 through the merger of two ex-cooperatives well established in South African history, being called Bacomo and Sasco, and many of our brand names were associated with those two great businesses at that point in time. But after the merger in 97, we grew quite aggressively through acquisitions. So many of the brands that's associated with us now, for example, Cereals, Marmite, you made reference to earlier, were acquired during that period. We are in our marketing department, and this is where all the great ideas are born.
Okay, I see. Yeah. And then Weet-Bix is one of your big
Weet-Bix is one of our, what we call power brands.
Yeah.
Interesting history. We acquired the business from an operator locally in 1936 and grew it from there. Interesting version, this added protein speaks to the health trend in food in South Africa and worldwide.
How important is your global operations to Pioneer?
It's probably about 15% of our total turnover, but specifically key in the UK, where we manufacture breakfast cereals, including this type of product under a different brand name, obviously.
What do you think the turning point for the company has been? Is it acquiring, global name brands like Marmite, like Heinz and so forth?
Yeah, it's been acquiring brands predominantly in South African context. This one is specifically unique, acquired from Unilever some time ago, and we've got the rights in the South African context to manufacture these products and distribute it. So very proud of having this in our stable.
So is it about product development in South Africa for South Africans? Is it about global brands, trying to bring them in and having the rights to produce global brands in the country?
Well, personally, I believe it's to have a presence of these global brands. They're very well established here over many years, but then our focus is predominantly on developing our own product and making our product fit for purpose in a South African context. Our first important strategy is to make sure that our core operating activities here in South Africa fire on all cylinders. That we grow organically as best we can within the context here, and that we grow incrementally outside of those borders.
Are you still on an acquisition path? I know in the UK you have been looking at various deals and you're bedding down some acquisitions. Is that going to be important?
Yes, it will be, Elaine. Our ambition is to grow above the mere organic growth that we can achieve here in South Africa or in the countries that we operate. So we're quite proud of us now acquiring the share of Kraft Heinz in the joint venture that we operated in the territory, and that became effective on the 1st of June. So the Wellington's brand, the Today's brand, and where we will have the right to manufacture under licensed Heinz tomato ketchup, for example. That's a great example of what we hope to achieve going forward.
Which of these brands, I mean, there's so many, keep you up at night, if any at all?
Well, it's the competitive angle and how you position them and how you can grow them that keeps me awake. I'm honest on that. And it's where we put our capital. Where do we invest for growth? And which will, in 10 years' time, when we look back, say, okay, that was a good decision to have made.
If I had to say to you one thing that really challenged you throughout your career, 25 years being at Pioneer Foods, what would that have been?
The big issue is to be patient, because you want to rectify everything immediately. You must remain disciplined and make sure that you plan accordingly, but be practical.
Well, that's it.